Vedas. Yet I shall speak of it to make his mercy known to all. O Lord Nityananda, I write of your mercy out of great exultation. Please forgive me for my offenses. Lord Nityananda Prabhu had a servant named Sri Minikatana Ramadas, who was a reservoir of love. At my house, so this is Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami speaking, at my house there was Sankirtan day and night, and therefore he visited there, having been invited. Absorbed in emotional love, he sat in my courtyard, and all the Vaishnavas bowed down at his feet. In a joyful mood of love of God, he sometimes climbed upon the shoulder of someone, offering obeisances, and sometimes he struck others with his flute, or mildly slapped them. Now, this is Minikatana Ramdas, who's a devotee of Lord Nityananda. When someone saw the eyes of Minikatana Ramdasa, tears would automatically flow from his own eyes, for a constant shower of tears flowed down from the eyes of Minikatana Ramadasa. Sometimes there were eruptions of ecstasy like kadamba flowers on some parts of his body, and sometimes one limb would be stunned while another would be trembling. Whenever he shouted aloud the name of Nityananda, the people around him were filled with great wonder and astonishment. One respectable Brahma named Sri Gunarnava Mishra was serving the deity. When Minikatana was seated in the yard, this Brahmana did not offer him respect. Seeing this, Sri Ramdasa became angry and spoke. Here I find the second Ramaharshana Sutta, who did not stand to show honor when he saw Lord Balarama. After saying this, he danced and sang to his heart's content, but the Brahmana did not become angry, for he was then serving Lord Krishna. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Minikatana Ramdasa was a great devotee of Lord Nityananda. When he entered the house of Krishnadas Kaviraja, Gunarnava Mishra, the priest who was worshipping the deity installed in the house, did not receive him very well. A similar event occurred when Ramaharshana Sutta was speaking to the great assembly of sages at Naimisharanya. Lord Baladeva entered the great assembly, but since Ramaharshana Sutta was on the Vyasasana, he did not get down to offer respect to Lord Baladeva. The behavior of Gunarnava Mishra indicated that he had no great respect for Lord Nityananda, and this idea was not at all palatable to Minikatana Ramdas. For this reason, the mentality of Minikatana Ramdas is never deprecated by devotees. In other words, this history, the comparison to Ramaharshana Sutta is very apt, because Ramaharshana Sutta was, he had a, let's say, inauspicious origin. His mother was a Vaishnava, I think, yeah, and his father was not, or at least not a Brahmana, and the mother was born in a Brahmana family. So that is that's considered a inauspicious, let's say, birth. However, Ramaharshana Sutta was elected by the great assembly elders to sit on the Vyasasana and address all the devotees in Naimisharanya. So he obviously had, in one sense, proven himself, at least academically. And when Lord Balaram arrived at Naimisharanya, everybody got up, including the elders who voted to seat Ramaharshana Sutta on the Vyasasana. But he didn't stand up. Seeing the elders stand up, he should have immediately stood up also, but he did not, because he was puffed up with false pride. And when Lord Balaram saw this, he, in the Krishna book, it's described that when a person who is honored does not respect or the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or does not act properly, then one has a right to remember his origin. In other words, if he acted properly, no one would think of who or of his inauspicious birth, etc. But because he acted improperly, Lord Balaram said, we have a right to remember his origin. And therefore, he explained, he remembering that by his inappropriate behavior, he actually walked up to him and touched him with a blade of grass and killed him. And then later on, his son was put on the Vyasa son to continue speaking in the place of the father. So we see how all of us basically are born from inauspicious conditions and families, in a sense. Everyone is considered Sudra in the age of Kali Yuga. But by Krishna consciousness, we can be elevated, just like Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, from the lowest to the highest person. But if we act improperly after such, let's say, elevation, then people have a right to remember our background. And it comes into play. So, and what happens, look what happened to Ramaharshana Sutta. Lord Nityananda killed him, because he was inappropriately sitting on that seat and manifesting low-class behavior. If you can't recognize the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you really have a problem. And everybody else recognized him, but due to the blindness that is coming from false ego, he refused to recognize Lord Balaram. In the same way, the priest, Gunarnava Mishra, did not properly, let's say, treat Minikatana Ramdas, not because he didn't like him personally, but he didn't like his guru. Who was his guru? Lord Nityananda. So Minikatana Ramdas immediately understood that, and therefore he did what he did. He compared the Gunarnava Mishra to Ramaharshana Sutta, and he chanted and danced out loud. Okay, so now, at the end of the festival, Minikatana Ramdas went away, offering his blessings to everyone. At that time, he had some controversy with my brother. So this is in the house of Krishnadas Kaviraj's brother. My brother had firm faith in Lord Chaitanya, but only a dim glimmer of faith in Lord Nityananda. Knowing this, Sri Ramdasa felt unhappy in his mind. I then rebuked my brother. Now you see, the priest is acting like this because he knows the brother, or his boss, does not really have great respect for Lord Nityananda, although he has great respect for Lord Chaitanya. And so you see, there is like a connection now between the behavior of the priest and the leader of the house, the brother of Krishnadas Kaviraj. And now Krishnadas Kaviraj is explaining his brother's problem. And also Sri Ramdas all realized, or Minikatana Ramdas also realized what was the cause of the priest's, inappropriate behavior. Knowing this, Sri Ramdasa felt unhappy in his mind. I then rebuked my brother. These two brothers, meaning Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, I told him, are like one body. They are identical manifestations. If you do not believe in Lord Nityananda, you will fall down. If you have faith in one but disrespect the other, your logic is like the logic of accepting half a hen. O kuku, nyaya, the logic of half the hen. In other words, there was a person who had a hen that was laying one egg a day, but they had to feed the hen. So the farmer thought, well, if I cut off the neck of the hen, then I'll just get the egg and I don't have to feed it. But of course, if you do that, the hen dies and you don't get any eggs. So that type of logic doesn't work. In the same way, if you if you respect Lord Chaitanya but don't respect Lord Nityananda, it's not going to work. You know. If you have faith in one but disrespect the other, your logic is like the logic of accepting half a hen. It would be better to be an atheist by slighting both brothers than a hypocrite by believing in one and slighting the other. So that's a major point right there. Thus, Sri Ramdasa broke his flute in anger and went away, and at that time my brother fell down. I have thus described the power of the servants of Lord Nityananda. Now I shall describe another characteristic of Lord Nityananda's mercy. That night, Lord Nityananda appeared to me in a dream because of my good quality in chastising my brother. Now let's say he didn't chastise his brother, right? He just accepted what happened. That would be another fault. So he acted properly by chastising his brother. In the village of Janmatapura, which is near Naihati, Lord Nityananda appeared to me in a dream. I fell at his feet, offering my obeisances, and he then placed his own lotus feet upon my head. "Arise, get up," he told me again and again. Upon rising, I was greatly astonished to see his beauty. He had a glossy, blackish complexion, and his tall, strong, heroic stature made him seem like Cupid himself. He had beautifully formed hands, arms, and legs, and eyes like lotus flowers. He wore a silk cloth with a silk turban on his head. He wore golden earrings on his ears and golden armlets and bangles. He wore tinkling anklets on his feet and a garland of flowers around his neck. His body was anointed with sandalwood pulp, and he was nicely decorated with tilaka. His movements surpassed those of a maddened elephant. His face was more beautiful than millions upon millions of moons, and his teeth were like pomegranate seeds because of his chewing betel nuts. His body moved to and fro, right and left, for he was absorbed in ecstasy. He chanted, "Krishna, Krishna," in a deep voice. His red stick moving in his hand, he seemed like a maddened lion. All around the four sides of his feet were bumblebees. His devotees, dressed like cowherd boys, surrounded his feet like so many bees, and also chanted, "Krishna, Krishna," absorbed in ecstatic love. Some of them played horns and flutes, and others danced and sang. Some of them offered betel nuts, and others waved chamara fans about him. Thus I saw such opulence in Lord Nityananda's Swarupa. His wonderful form, qualities, and pastimes are all transcendental. I was overwhelmed with transcendental ecstasy, not knowing anything else. Then Lord Nityananda smiled and spoke to me as follows. "O my dear Krishnadasa, do not be afraid. Go to Vrindavana, for there you will attain all things." After saying this, he directed me toward Vrindavana by waving his hand. He then disappeared with his associates. I fainted and fell to the ground. My dream broke, and when I regained consciousness, I saw that morning had come. I thought about what I had seen and heard, and concluded that the Lord had ordered me to proceed to Vrindavana at once. That very second, I started for Vrindavana, and by his mercy, I reached there in great happiness. All glory to Lord Nityananda Balaram, by whose mercy I have attained shelter in the transcendental abode of Vrindavana. All glory to the merciful Lord Nityananda, by whose mercy I have attained shelter at the lotus feet of Shri Rupa and Shri Sanatana. By his mercy, I have attained the shelter of the great personality Shri Raghunath Das Goswami, and by his mercy, I have found the refuge of Shri Swarup Damodara. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Anyone desiring to become expert in the service of Shri Radha and Krishna should always aspire to be under the guidance of Swarup Damodara Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, and Raghunath Das Goswami. To come under the protection of the Goswamis, one must get the mercy and grace of Nityananda Prabhu. The author has tried to explain this fact in these two verses. By the mercy of Sanatan Goswami, again Krishnadas Goswami Maharaj speaking, I have learned the final conclusions of devotional service, and by the grace of Sri Rupa Goswami, I have tasted the highest nectar of devotional service. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Sri Sanatan Goswami Prabhu, the teacher of the science of devotional service, wrote several books, of which the Brihad Bhagavatamritam is very famous. Anyone who wants to know about the subject matter of devotees, devotional service, and Krishna must read this book. Sanatan Goswami also wrote a special commentary on the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagvatam known as the Dasama Lipani, the pastimes of Krishna and his exchanges of loving activities. Another famous book by Sanatan Goswami is the Hari Bhakti Vilasa, which states the rules and regulations for all divisions of Vaishnavas, namely Vaishnava householders, Vaishnava brahmacharis, Vaishnava vanaprasthas, and Vaishnava sannyasis. This book was especially written, however, for the Vaishnava householders. Sri Raghunath Das Goswami has described Sanatan Goswami in his prayer, Vilapa Kusumanjali, verse 6, where he has expressed his obligation to the Sanatan Goswami in the following words. I was unwilling to drink the nectar of devotional service, possessed of renunciation. But Sanatan Goswami, out of his causeless mercy, made me drink it, even though I was otherwise unable to do so. Therefore, he is an ocean of mercy. He is very compassionate to fallen souls like me, and thus it is my duty to offer my respectful obeisance unto his lotus feet. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami also, in the last section of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, specifically mentions the names of Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, and Srila Jiva Goswami, and offers his respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of these three spiritual masters, as well as Raghunath Dasa. Sri Raghunath Das Goswami also accepted Sanatan Goswami as a teacher of the science of devotional service. Sri Rupa Goswami is described as the Bhakti Rasa Charya, or one who knows the essence of devotional service. His famous book, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, is the science of devotional service, and by reading this book, one can understand the meaning of devotional service. Another of his famous books is the Ujjvala Nilamani. In this book, he elaborately explains the loving affairs and transcendental activities of Lord Krishna and Radharani. All glory to the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, by whose mercy I have attained Shri Radha Govinda. Srila Narottam Das Thakur, who is famous for his poetic composition known Parthana, has lamented in one of his prayers, when will Lord Nityananda be merciful upon me, so that I will forget all material desires? Srila Narottam Das Thakur confirms that unless one is freed from material desires to satisfy the needs of the body and senses, one cannot understand the transcendental abode of Lord Krishna, Vrindavana. He also confirms that one cannot understand the loving affairs of Radha and Krishna without going through the direction of the six Goswamis. In another verse, Narottam Das Thakur has stated that without the causeless mercy of Nityananda, one cannot enter into the affairs of Radha and Krishna. So, this is what we should remember, that today is a very special day. It's Lord Nityananda Prabhu's appearance day. If we can meditate on him, especially his unfathomable mercy to Krishnadas Goswami, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, and to many other devotees like Raghunath Das Goswami, which we'll hear about later on this morning, and all devotees, because he is Balaram, and Balaram assists Lord Krishna in all his pastimes. He makes everything, let's say, easy and possible for the Lord to do. He expands as Anantasesha and Mahavishnu in so many different ways to assist the Lord in his pastimes. He becomes the seat of the Lord, and so forth. So, if we want to get the mercy of the Goswamis, if we want to get the mercy of going to Vrindavan and actually acting properly and seeing Vrindavan in the real sense. If we want to understand the loving affairs of Radha and Krishna, we must have the mercy of Lord Nityananda to open the door to transcendental life. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami then says, I am more sinful than Jagai and Madai, and even lower than the worms in the stool. Jagai Madai haite muni se papista, purishera kita haite muni se lagista. Anyone who hears my name loses the results of his pious activities. Anyone who utters my name becomes sinful. Who in this world but Nityananda could show his mercy to such an abominable person as me? Because he is intoxicated by ecstatic love and is an incarnation of mercy, he does not distinguish between the good and the bad. He delivers all those... Okay, tell them to stop talking. Every time, it's the same thing. Every year we have to say the same thing. It's like, they can't get their whatever, anything done without talking so loudly. Did you tell them? Or? Who in this world but Nityananda could show his mercy to such an abominable person as me? Because he is intoxicated by ecstatic love and is an incarnation of mercy, he does not distinguish between the good and the bad. He delivers all those who fall down before him. Therefore, he has delivered such a sinful and fallen person as me. Although I am sinful and I am the most fallen, he has conferred upon me the lotus feet of Sri Rupa Goswami. I am not fit to speak all these confidential words about my visiting Lord Madan Gopal and Lord Govinda. Lord Madan Gopala, the chief deity of Vrindavana, is the enjoyer of the rasa dance and is directly the son of the king of Raja. He enjoys the rasa dance with Srimati Radharani, Shri Lalita, and others. He manifests himself as the Cupid of Cupids, wearing yellow garments and decorated with a flower garland. Lord Krishna, appearing among the gopis with his smiling lotus face, looked directly like the charmer of the heart of Cupid. With Radha and Lalita serving him on his two sides, he attracts the hearts of all by his own sweetness. The mercy of Lord Nityananda showed me Shri Madan Mohana and gave me Shri Madan Mohana as my Lord and Master. So this is the deity Madan Mohan that you can see today in the Madan Mohan temple in Vrindavan. He granted to one as low as me the sight of Lord Govinda. Words cannot describe this, nor is it fit to be disclosed. On an altar made of gems in the principal temple of Vrindavana, amidst the forest of desire trees, Lord Govinda, the son of the king of Rajas, sits upon a throne of gems and manifests his full glory and sweetness, thus enchanting the entire world. By his left side is Srimati Radharani and her personal friends. With them, Lord Govinda enjoys the Rasa Lila and many other pastimes. Lord Brahma, sitting on his lotus seat in his own abode, always meditates on him and worships him with the mantra consisting of 18 syllables. So what he's doing now is explaining Madan Mohan deity and Govindaji deity, and I think later on he's going to talk about Gopinath deity. So Madan Mohan deity represents Sambandha, being introduced to the Lord. Govindaji represents Abhideya, acting in devotional service acting in your relationship with the Lord after being introduced to him. And Radha Gopinath represents attaining pure prema bhakti, or pure love for Krishna. Lord Brahma, sitting on his lotus seat in his own abode, always meditates on him and worships him with the mantra consisting of 18 syllables. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In his own planet, Lord Brahma, with the inhabitants of that planet, worships the form of Lord Govinda, Krishna, by the mantra of 18 syllables, Klim Krishnaya Govindaya Gopijana Vallabhaya Swaha. Those who are initiated by a bona fide spiritual master and who chant the Gayatri mantra 3 times a day know this Asta Dasakshara 18-syllable mantra. The inhabitants of Brahmaloka and the planets below Brahmaloka worship Lord Govinda by meditating with this mantra. There is no difference between meditating and chanting, but in the present age, meditation is not possible on this planet. Therefore, loud chanting of a mantra like the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, with the soft chanting of the Asta Sakshara, the mantra of 18 syllables, is recommended. So the Gayatri mantra is always chanted silently, and this is only one line of it. And then the Hare Krishna mantra should be chanted loud enough that you can hear it when you're doing japa, and maybe someone sitting close to you, and much louder when you go on Sankirtan Yagya, so that everyone can hear you. Right? And I hope you will come on Sankirtan Yagya. Are you coming tomorrow? Okay. Anybody else coming? You can raise your hand if you want to come. Okay. Sudhir, raise your hand. You come on Sankirtan also. Come on, raise your hand. Okay, 2 hands, good. Yeah, I didn't see any lady. Let's see. Okay, that's only 1 lady out of about 15. Okay, 2 out of 15. 3 out of 4 out of 15. Okay. Well, it's better than none. All right. Okay, so it says that Lord Brahma lives in the highest planetary system known as Brahmaloka or Satyaloka. In every planet, there is a predominating deity. As the predominating deity in Satyaloka is Lord Brahma, so in the heavenly planets, Indra is the predominating deity, and on the sun god Vivaswan is the predominating deity. The inhabitants and predominating deities of every planet are all recommended to worship Govinda either by meditation or by chanting. So meditation means Gayatri mantra, chanting means Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Everyone in the 14 worlds meditates upon him, and all the denizens of Vaikuntha sing of his qualities and pastimes. The goddess of fortune is attracted by his sweetness, which Srila Rupa Goswami has described in this way. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Rupa Goswami, in his Lagu Bhagavatamrita, has quoted from the Padma Purana, where it is stated that Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune, after seeing the attractive features of Lord Krishna, was attracted to him, and to get the favor of Lord Krishna, she engaged herself in meditation. When asked by Krishna why she engaged in meditation with austerity, Lakshmi Devi answered, "I want to be one of your associates like the gopis in Vrindavan." Hearing this, Lord Sri Krishna replied that it was quite impossible. Lakshmi Devi then said that she wanted to remain just like a golden line on the chest of the Lord. The Lord granted the request, and since then Lakshmi has always been situated on the chest of Lord Krishna as a golden line. The austerity and meditation of Lakshmi Devi are also mentioned in Srimad Bhagvatam, 10th canto, 16th chapter, 36th verse, where the Nagapatnis, the wives of the serpent Kaliya, in the course of their prayers to Krishna, said that the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, also wanted his association as a gopi and desired the dust of his lotus feet. Well, here we have 2 stories. One is that Lakshmi Devi is meditating on Lord Krishna, and she wants to join the Rasa Leela dance, and he says it's not possible. So then she said, well, let me be a golden line on your chest. But in another story, Lakshmi Devi wanted to be a gopi and enter the Rasa Leela, and she meditated. But Lord Chaitanya explained that she did not want to change her body into that of a gopi. So she was not able to enter the Rasa Lila. And whereas Lord Shiva, he wanted to also enter the Rasa Lila. And he accepted to change his body into a body of a gopi. And when he did, he came under the instructions of one of the gopis to do that. And when it happened, he tried to enter the Rasa Lila, or he didn't actually get into the Rasa Lila, but he tried to associate with the other devotees. And they asked him, where were you born? What's the name of your mother and father? What village were you born? And he couldn't answer those questions, so they started slapping him. And then he went away, and he was very forlorn, crying. And one gopi came to him and said, "Why are you so unhappy?" And he explained. And she said, "Well, you can get the mercy. You can still get the mercy of the Lord." And Krishna blessed Lord Shiva to be the protector of the holy Dham while the Rasa Lila is going on, and the protector of Vrindavan, where the Rasa Lila takes place. So if you go to Vrindavan, there is a temple of Gopishwara Shiva. And normally sometimes it's said that's the first temple you should visit, because you get Lord Shiva's mercy to enter into the holy Dham. And he is the protector of the Rasa Lila. So here it says, "My dear friend, if you are indeed attached to your worldly friends, do not look at the smiling face of Lord Govinda as he stands on the bank of the Yamuna at Keshigata. Casting sidelong glances, he places his flute to his hip, he places his flute to his lips, which seem like newly blossomed twigs. His transcendental body, bending in 3 places, appears very bright in the moonlight." Purport by Srila Prabhupada. This is a verse quoted from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.239 in connection with the practical devotional service. Generally, people in their conditioned life engage in the pleasure of society, friendship, and love. This so-called love is lust, not love. But people are satisfied with such a false understanding of love. Vidyapati, a great and learned poet of Mithila, has said that the pleasure derived from friendship, society, and family life in the material world is like a drop of water, but our hearts desire pleasure like an ocean. Thus, the heart is compared to a desert of material existence that requires the water of an ocean of pleasure to satisfy its dryness. If there is a drop of water in the desert, one may indeed say that it is water, but such a minute quantity of water has no value. Similarly, in this material world, no one is satiated in the dealings of society, friendship, and love. Therefore, if one wants to derive real pleasure within his heart, he must seek the lotus feet of Govinda. In this verse, Rupa Goswami indicates that if one wants to be satisfied in the pleasure of society, friendship, and love, he need not seek shelter at the lotus feet of Govinda. For if one takes shelter under Lord Govinda's lotus feet, he will forget the minute quantity of so-called pleasure. One who is not satisfied with that so-called pleasure may seek the lotus feet of Govinda, who stands on the shore of the Yamuna at Keshitirtha or Keshigata in Vrindavana, and attracts all gopis to his transcendental loving service. Without a doubt, he is directly the son of the king of Vraja. Only a fool considers him a statue. So we'll stop right there. Krishnadas Kaviraj finishes by saying, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda are the life and soul of those Vaishnavas who do not know anything but devotional service to Shri Shri Radha and Krishna. The dust and shade of the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas have been granted to this fallen soul by the mercy of Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda said, in Vrindavan, all things are possible. Here I have explained his brief statement in detail. I have attained all this by coming to Vrindavana, and this was made possible by the mercy of Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda Rai Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna.